Right, I've succeeded in getting my turbo off the Audi TT Mk1. I have to tell you that what I've done is I've left the coolant return on the turbo and the oil return. There's the oil return, there's the coolant return. I found it nigh on impossible to get to that one. That one you can get to, that one you can't. That I think is just virtually impossible to get to. So I left them all on and removed it all. The tools I needed were a 17mm, and that was for the 3 bolts that attaches to the exhaust. I needed a 14 female Torx. That is for the bolts that actually hold the turbo on. And I needed an 8 and a 5 Allen key. On top of the turbo, you've got the coolant and the oil line that both need an 8 to undo. There is also there's a 13mm bolt that holds the bottom bracket on. That bottom bracket there, that fits on, that you access from underneath. I'll show you that one. I have to tell you that I soaked everything in WD-40 for a long time. Over a 48-hour period, I just kept soaking all these, and they all come off no problem. I was well pleased. They all come off no problem. Now I have to say that I'm fairly lucky in that I do have a 2-post lift. I'll lift her up. She's been standing for quite a while now, as you can see. There's your exhaust, and there's you can see there's 1, 2, and there's one above. That one, the one to the back on the exhaust, 17mm, I accessed from on top, and there's one on top. I needed an obstruction spanner to be able to get to them. So it was, and you can just see there that bracket. On the other end of that is a captured nut. So that bolt goes through, and I accessed that. I didn't need to drop anything else. I managed to access that with a 500mm extension and a universal joint on, and just gave it a tug and it came off. But as I say, I did really soak everything in WD-40. Now, I drained the oil down, and there is the oil return that I removed, and took that out with a turbo. and trying to find, there's a banjo there that goes to the coolant. So up there, can you see it? Very difficult to see. Very difficult to see. But up there, there's a banjo that does the coolant. So I took that off as well. So both them pipes come off. And that's all I did. That's all I did from below. I'll take her up. There is a guy called BBS TT who's the expert on these, and his videos have been a great help. I don't know how he does it without having a 2-post, but he seems to manage to do it just with some axle stands and a hydraulic jack. So I think he's amazing how he does it, but I certainly couldn't have done it. Far too awkward. We'll come to the back. And just there, 1, 2, 3. They're the 3 female Torx you need, size 14, to undo. The turbo is just here, and this one is easy enough to get to, just with an obstruction spanner, and there's one here that was easy enough to get to. As I say, the other one I got to from underneath. So, how I did it, I undone the three exhaust first and got them out of the way. I then undid the 3 Torx, got them out of the way. The one underneath, the size 13, which I got out with a long extension, that was the next to go. And there is an awkward that a lot of people forget. There was one down here which is like a steadying bar that attaches, and you have to get rid of that, otherwise the turbo won't come out. Now once you've undone these 3, you can pull it forward. You can then get to the the oil, these banjo connections on the oil and on the coolant. Undo them 2. They push away. So you've undone them 3, the 3 round the exhaust. You've undone the one underneath the steadying. Don't forget that little 5mm Allen key in there, and then it's just a matter of fiddling it through, and it comes out through here and comes up. And there she is. This is now going to go away. Going to get it refurbed. One other thing I wanted to tell you. This is the turbo inlet pipe. I'm going to be replacing this. Now some of the connections on there, they're single use, and you can sort of get to them. They're not really a problem. You can get, it doesn't really affect you too much. But this one here is right down in the bottom, and I couldn't get to that to cut it off. So all I did is I just soaked this in silicone, and then I just pulled it out through there. It comes up here, through that one, and through that one, and up here. And as I say, I just pulled them, gave it some silicone so I could pull it through. And I left that in situ as well. I can cut this off now, and when it comes, I'll replace it with just an ordinary Jubilee clip. It wasn't too bad of a job, to be honest. I know a lot of people say, you know, it was a night, and of course, if you break anything, anyone's going to say it's a terrible job. I was very lucky. Nothing broke. The 3 exhaust nuts come off smooth. The 3 torque screws come off smooth. The stabilising bolt underneath wasn't a problem. So I was lucky. But as I say, I did soak and soak and soak. There's the obstruction spanner I used. Size 14. If I get into those bolts, well, I hope it's been of some use to you.